Tonight, we are going up against Satan's gate. I'm a little concerned, man, about your salvation and stuff. How come you have not been baptized?
Because I never got around to it, okay? I don't know why you always have to be judging me. Because I only believe in science.
Welcome to Hispanerds. Hello everybody, welcome back to Hispanerds. This is Alex.
This is Kenji.
And we are back with Loki spoilers for episode 2. Number 1, well, actually, can you do me a favor and turn this down because it's a little bit distracting? How's that? Yeah, that's great.
All right.
I'm just going to say, I mean, we're speaking on episode 2 today. We've both seen episode 3.
Yeah.
I love the tone so far.
Oh, 100%.
Of the show. Like, I don't even know how to describe the tone because I could tell you WandaVision was a trip through classic television with heartbreak underneath. Falcon Winter Soldier, action with the development of brotherly love and let me see here. There we go.
There you go.
With brotherly love and you know, a lot of drama about legacy.
Yeah, it's the weight because it's dangling.
Yeah, I know, but sorry guys, we're having technical difficulties. All right.
Oh, did it click?
It did click in, which was weird that it wasn't clicked in before. But all right. But Loki, I mean, it's a mystery. It's a comedy. It's heartbreak. It's cosmic. Like, there's so much going on, and we keep finding out new things. Even the little thing that you sent me of the little city.
I had no idea about that. I went back and watched the movie.
And that was in Ant-Man.
That was in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
So it's just like the kind of game that Marvel was playing is so much. It's like 8D chess. Yeah. They're just like, I mean... And none of it can't be accidental. There has to be some thinking. It can't just be like Kevin Feige and the writers or anybody go,
no.
Hey, you know what? Let's throw Secret City in here. We might use it later. They kind of have to a little bit work out the plan of going.
They have it already planned. They're like 4 or 5 years ahead. That's what's going on.
I heard a story or read a story a long time ago, which I've always hoped is true. And man, it would be such a delight to go see in person. But I heard a story. Sorry, I keep saying heard. I read a story a long time ago that Kevin Feige in his office has a scroll that he open. And I'm not even kidding you. That he opens up and they add stuff to it as they continue to add to the story of Marvel. That he's got it all physically down on paper.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, and
I want to see that.
There's another story that Luis from Ant-Man also has said the entire history of the MCU in the style that he does when he retells the story, that there's a video of that.
Oh, really?
As well, yeah.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
So, I mean, just like, yeah, dude, I'm hoping like 20-year anniversary or something, you know, like some kind of giant box set. One of the things that I definitely regret is not saving money up to buy the MCU every phase, the box sets of them.
Are you talking about the Steelbook or just regular?
No, they weren't regular. They were like, one of them was a case, a shield case with the Tesseract in it. Another one was the orb from Kenny's baby is playing with the cords. Yeah. But yeah, man, that would have been a really cool kind of like like a geek history thing to own. But anyway, let's get into it. I got more spoilers, major spoilers for Loki and Easter egg information.
It's gonna be tough for me because like I have the third one like
in your brain,
in my brain. So I did rewatch all of them this past week. So
I'm hoping that this like just reminds your brain. You know what I'm saying? Like that once we go through this, you'll be like, oh yeah. All right, so we're gonna start Loki Easter eggs first, and then we'll talk a little bit more about our impressions of it. So, and here's what I found on online from BuzzFeed and other sites. So we'll start with when the evil variant attacks the Minutemen, one touch causes them to be possessed. This is similar to what happened when Loki touched people with his staff in the Avengers and when Wanda mind controlled the Avengers in Age of Ultron. So it's that taking over somebody's mind style of power from the person that up until this point we hadn't seen, that was a shadowy figure that was inside of the was wearing a cape or whatever,
Right.
you know.
A cloak.
Yeah, a cloak. So, and that little Easter egg comes, just that conversation of that, it's not just an Easter egg going back to the idea of Loki using the wand to possess people, but it also connects to another character in the MCU. Another Easter egg, when Loki is reading Mobius Jet Ski magazine, you see volume 26, number 4. I'd like to think that this is a reference to Thor issue 264, which features Loki ruling Asgard, and it features the Enchantress, which more on her later. Mobius shows Loki various Loki variants. We've got what looks like a full-blood frost giant Loki, a cyclist Loki, a strong Hulk Loki, a trickster Loki, a Viking Loki. The designs of the last 3 variants are taken directly from the comics too.
Now, did you see? Remember how we were talking about how he has different powers, and
Yeah.
you're like, they have the same.
Yeah.
And he this is what he breaks it down.
That's where Owen Wilson's character points out that different Lokis have almost the same powers, but kind of different as well. You can spot number 372 behind Loki when he's inside the TVA. The number 372 is likely a nod to the Mighty Thor issue 372, which features an appearance by the TVA, which is a time variance authority. When Loki is getting files from the library, you can hear Orchestral Suite number 3 in D major by Bach, which is a nod to the movie Seven, where the same piece plays when Mills and Somerset, the 2 main characters from Seven, are in the library investigating a killer. And actually, the showrunner for Loki just confirmed that was the case, that they did that little thing on purpose as a little homage.
Okay.
Yeah. When Loki is looking at the file about Ragnarok, you can see that the event's codename is Revengers.
Yeah. Did you notice that?
Yeah, which is what Thor, Valkyrie, and Loki and Hulk's team, name is in Thor Ragnarok. It's pretty. We'll call ourselves the Revengers. When Loki is describing how the evil variant is hiding in apocalypses, he uses the example of going down to Asgard and pushing Hulk off the Rainbow Bridge, which actually happens in Thor Ragnarok. So, when he uses that example, he's saying, I could go and push the Hulk off, and it wouldn't make a difference because the event would be completely wiped out, which is
right.
Part of the mystery of the second episode is how is the Loki variant escaping notice, and as we find out, it's because she is hiding inside of apocalypses that have what's called zero variance energy. So when that event happens, anything that existed in that period of time gets completely wiped out of the records,
right? And
so that's where she continues to hide.
And they tested out the theory in Pompeii.
Yeah, in Pompeii, she's undetectable in those events. Mobius mentions how Loki has literally stabbed people in the back several times, which is exactly what Loki did to Coulson in the Avengers.
Better never do it again.
Yeah. Mobius hands Loki 2 daggers, which Hunter B-15 promptly confiscates through the MCU movies. Throughout the MCU movies, Loki's 2 blades have been his weapon of choice. It's what we see him favor and what he seems to be the best fighting at. The evil Loki variant is tracked to a Roxxon in the future. This could be related to Roxxon Corporation, which has been mentioned throughout the MCU, notably in Iron Man. I went ahead and pulled out a little bit more information on that corporation because it does play a major role in the Marvel Comics, especially in the last big event that they had called War of the Realms. Mm-hmm. They played a major role in that. Roxxon Corporation, or simply Roxxon, is the name of a fictional massive petroleum industrial conglomerate in the Marvel Universe, appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. The company is depicted as having been run by various executives who are typically ready and eager to use any underhanded and illegal option to secure profits, up to and including violence. As such, Roxxon is consistent opponent. Yeah, I know. various superheroes. Evil Loki variant is revealed to be Sofia de Martino's character, and I don't think she's playing a Loki variant at all, but rather Sylvie Lushton, aka the Enchantress in the comics. Sylvie is from Oklahoma. We visited there in episode 1, and her powers are given to her by Loki. That's in the comic books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we can talk a little bit about this because we've seen episode 3. We find out that although Sylvie is
the name of the
character, she's still considered a Loki variant.
Yeah, she just changed her name because she doesn't like it,
but
as an alias.
But she has basically all the powers that.
They're just doing like an homage, kind of like what they did with what's her name? Thor's sister, Death. What's her name?
Hela.
Hela. Yeah. How they mixed her with what's her name? With also Enchantress. They did a comedy.
No.
Or was it her or somebody else?
No.
I remember hearing that.
And the MCU, she's only been Hela.
No, she's Hela, but they mixed her with like some of the characteristics with another.
I didn't hear about that.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. Let me see.
And I think that's what they do. That's what I was telling you last week. That's what I think MCU does. Like
sometimes
to throw people off, because if they go off the comic books exactly, it's going to be always on point. And people are going to always figure it out. Yeah,
maybe. I'm still not 100% convinced, but
you still not
I'm still not 100% convinced because they, like you said, they like to play around with expectations, and she keeps fighting it so hard that like, don't call me that, don't call me, I'm not that, I'm not, it's just
because of her past.
Maybe it's just interesting either way. So Enchantress is the common primary alias of 2 fictional characters appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. The first of these is a powerful sorceress with the real name of Amora. She is one of Thor's greatest enemies. The second Enchantress is the young Sylvie Lushton, who was given great mystic powers by Loki when he created her as a tool for chaos. She models herself after the original Enchantress Amora. So they definitely did take a character. Took 3 characters actually, Loki, Sylvie, and Amora, and they did an amalgamation. As so far as the way that it's playing out on the show. I don't think this is Lady Loki. Someone pointed out that in the foreign language credits, the character is listed as Sylvie. So we know that at the end of the credits of 2, but again, we've seen 3. So
and then even Loki calls her Lady Loki.
At this point, I think she's Mephisto. Also, throughout the episode, there are hints that. Hold on. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
That's 1 2 1 2. That's weird. That's never happened before.
What happened? I didn't catch anything.
They shut down.
Oh, did it?
Oh, you know why it shut down? Because it's not. It doesn't have a direct power source.
Oh, okay. So when the screen goes away,
Yeah. Let's pause this for a second. All right. We'll be right back, guys. All right, everybody. Sorry about that little pause. We're back. We thought we might have a technical difficulty, but we're actually good.
We're good.
So let me see. Where was I? Okay. So another Easter egg. Also throughout the episode, there are hints at Sophie's character isn't a Loki variant. She mentions not to call her Loki, and Loki says he would never treat himself this way. So again, they're playing little. The Marvel is playing little mind tricks, and they keep trying to subvert expectations.
Yeah.
Even like, is she? Isn't she? Is she?
Right.
Isn't she? When Sylvie, aka the Enchantress, blows up the sacred timeline, she essentially created a multiverse. When she did that, like a new branching of the multiverse.
Right. You can see the branches growing too, like on the screen.
When Rovana is watching all of the branches form, you can see that there are events taking place in several notable MCU locations, like Vormir, which is where the Soul Stone comes from, Asgard, Sakaar, which is where Planet Hulk was happening when Thor, Hulk, and Loki landed. With the game. What was his name again? The Game Master, or the Collector's brother.
Oh, yeah. What's his name? The guy from Jurassic Park.
Yeah. And then Ego, which is Peter Quill's father. which he had been destroyed in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but now there's an event happening, which means that probably Ego is back.
Right.
Titan, which is the home to what's his name? The main bad guy from Avengers, Thanos, and his whole race.
Mm-hmm.
The NYC, which is New York, and then Hala, which is the home of the not the Kree, but the good guys.
The Nova.
Yeah, I think Nova Corps is on Hala, or Hala actually might be the Skrulls.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, but I'll have to go back and take a look at that. But there's events happening in all those locations. Vormir is where the Soul Stone was located. Asgard is the home. Oh, I broke it down here. Asgard is the home of Thor and Loki. Sakaar is where Thor met Valkyrie and where the Grand Master lives. Ego was Peter Quill's dad, who is a planet. LOL. That was me. I put that in there. Mm-hmm. Titan was Thanos' home planet. NYC is where the Battle of New York took place, and Hala is the Kree homeworld, where Carol Danvers lived for a while. Okay. And finally, you can see that the helmet on Rovana's shelf says 823, which is a reference to Avengers issue 23, also known as the first time Ravonna appeared in the comics. So one of the super cool things that, in my opinion, that they've been doing in this show in particular is all the little comic book references that they drop in with the Easter eggs.
Right.
I think that's so dope.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and
now I'm gonna go back to the beginning of episode 2, which I kind of when we see what was the name of the little clock, the little character?
Miss Time.
Miss Time, yeah. Is it Miss Time?
I think so. Yeah. Here, I can look at it real quick.
But let me put
okay, there we go. Let me double check. You keep talking for a second.
Okay. So so I had already a theory before I even saw episode 3, but with Mobius, when we see that whole thing with
Miss Minute,
yeah, thank you. Hold on, I'm gonna put it back to.
Okay, so Kenny's gonna go and put Loki episode 2 back on. So
when Mobius is talking to what's her name,
Rovana, or the
Slade or something like that. Slade.
The chick M15 or whatever her name is. Yeah.
So
the agent. Yeah.
She talks about the whole rings and how he's putting the cups and.
Oh no, that's Rovana. Ravonna.
Yeah, but if she has another name, something Slayer. Yeah, something Slayer. Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm just going by her first name.
Oh yeah, but yeah, Ravonna Slayer. I think that's.
Yeah. Why are you making it weird? Just Ravonna. Man.
No, Ravonna
anyway,
Slayer.
Yeah, go ahead.
She's a Slayer. She's
whatever.
So she talks about him putting the cup like on a coaster or whatever because of the rings that they're leaving.
Yeah.
And even in the images towards the end, when you see Mobius, like his little cartoon depiction, there's rings as well. So I started, this is before I even saw that. I was thinking, okay, he must be a type of variant. Like he has to be another variant because she was saying that she has another guy that she talks to,
right,
which is going to be exactly the same guy as him. He's basically another variant. And then what put it more together was when I saw Miss Minute in the beginning and how she was talking, and I completely had forgotten that in the beginning of episode 1 when they're explaining the whole variant and Nexus and all that stuff. When they're showing Loki's character, like he's not the character, but that little cartoon character, and how he's
the little yellow guy.
Yeah. And he's turning to different different variants.
Yeah.
One of them is an actual object, like it's a cup.
Yeah.
So that means
it's like a cup man.
Exactly. So Miss Minute could be an actual variant.
Oh.
So I'm thinking that she could be one of the main top people that's controlling the certain things too. That know certain things.
Maybe.
That's why she's all over the place. Like if you look at her, like the elevator or every little button, she's in part of everything. So and there's even a statue of her.
But she's like an operating system. Because remember
there's an actual statue of her. Kind of like the three. The three, There's a statue of her. So she's like,
so Ms. Minute is your version of Mephisto. She's the one who's just manipulating.
Yeah. So I'll watch. I guarantee that.
There is an entity in the Marvel comics that is like a time entity.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Marvel comics, there's representations of aspects of the universe. So there's like an infinity aspect to the universe that is a physical embodiment.
Yeah.
There's a universe embodiment. There's a time embodiment. So there are like these forces that are embodied in single individuals that help maintain and control like the flow of everything.
Right.
So if Miss Minute ended up being revealed as one of those, it wouldn't surprise. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise.
Now,
me.
what you just said right now, you said the word twist. This is another theory that I heard in a video, which I don't know too much about these characters, but okay. So the three lizard guys, or what are they called again?
Yeah, the timekeepers.
The timekeepers. So they.
I know Loki keeps calling them lizards. You're telling me that 3 lizards.
Yeah. So. So
sad.
Back in the day, they were in a battle with these other creatures that are called the Twisters, the Time Twisters or something like that. And
well,
they look like these weird alien creatures.
Well, we talked about that last time, that the Time Twisters are now represented here as a device in this show, but in the comic books, they're actual physical creatures that have like weird big heads and they're yellowish.
Yes,
yeah. But on the show, the Time Twisters have now been relegated to being a device that you can...
Oh, see, I was thinking that maybe they're the ones that are controlling that time flow, because when you look at the animated series too, when they're creating that the timeline, the actual
sacred timeline.
Yeah, the sacred timeline. It's not just going straight; it's actually going on a twist. But I think I'm stretching it.
Yeah, I think you are stretching it. Yeah, I think
because so I'm like, okay, it's twisting.
Yeah, you're going into deep conspiracy theory at this point. And if you look at his belt, and if you look at his shoulders, he's got similar shoulders to Superman. So I think at some point, I don't know. There's so many things that are packed into this show that are, I think some of them they want to play with people's expectations. So I think some of it is like they're doing like little fun things that are going to go nowhere. But then there's other things that like it means something for for something else.
And I realized too that I kind of figured that I'm gonna just keep calling her Lady Loki and Loki.
I'm gonna call her Enchantress, but go ahead.
They're like the heroes of this, and the variants don't know what they're doing because they've been wiped, like their memories are wiped. But
hey, you're going into episode 3.
No, this is still episode 2 because this is the way I was thinking in episode 2.
I know, but you hold on to that.
No, there's a reason why. In the beginning of this too, is it the beginning of this one, when we see Yeah, at the beginning of this one, when you hear when Lady Loki is they're in that carnival. What is it? The it's like
the Renaissance fair. Yeah,
episode 2, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the reason why I'm bringing it up. When she starts fighting them in the beginning, what's the song you hear?
I don't remember.
I need a hero.
Oh yeah.
So basically, she's the one fighting. So it's basically putting her as she's the hero of the story. That's the reason why I was like, oh, okay, these are the heroic people and the villains, because come on, you look at the uniforms that
they look like Nazis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they totally look. Yeah,
so
100%.
They're the even though they don't know it because they've been
brainwashed. Yeah.
So that's when I started thinking, okay, these are the villains and they're the good the heroes, and she's gonna basically show Loki what's actually going on.
Yeah, the way that they have been made to look, the police aspect of the time variants, very militaristic, but also very sinister looking with the way the helmets are and the way that they look like riot police.
Well, even how they treat him right here in this part, like when they're downstairs at the basement, he's even Mobius like, hey, calm down, come on.
They're very riot police-ish. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And then, I mean, for me personally, from the very beginning, when the show started, the time variant police, or the TVA rather, authority, they didn't feel like good guys to me.
Oh yeah, it's in that beginning when he's eyeballing Loki in the queue line.
Yeah,
when he's trying to get the ticket.
The time variance police, time variance authority, they don't feel like good guys to me, but you do accept that they are doing something important. Oh, look, that's interesting. Okay, so I just noticed the device that
she just put right there.
She just put right there, which is the same device that they use to open portals to get around.
Yeah.
Okay, the top part of the device looks like that ring that Doctor Strange uses to open portals.
Oh, yeah.
That's fascinating. But yeah, they don't feel like they were good guys, but they felt like kind of like the DMV, or they felt like a government agency that was doing a job.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like. But they do look sinister, you know, and how they approach people and how they do things. You know, and we already know who Loki is, so we're already preloaded with the idea that Loki's a bad guy,
right?
No matter what, you know. So it is interesting.
Yeah, he goes back and forth to me.
Nah, to me, he's always been a bad guy. I mean, even in the last Thor movie, he like tried to betray Thor, and Thor had turned the tables on him.
Oh yeah,
and had put the little, and he's like, "Brother, I knew what you were gonna do." You know, so. You know, it's not until the very, very end that they do a little twist where he actually starts working with Thor, and he goes and reconnects Sutter with the Eternal Flame, and then causes him to be the destruction of but yeah, I mean, you know, just looking at Loki, he's always felt like a bad guy to me, and he's always felt off until even in this. He's lovable now, you know, but I still don't.
A little scamp.
I don't trust him.
Oh, no, 100%.
I don't trust him. Like I mean, even his desire of what he wants to do, that he wants to take over the TVA and run it. You know,
right?
I mean, that would give him that would give him power over every single creature in the universe.
I feel like he's gonna backstab Lady Loki.
Or she's going to backstab him. Like, I mean, you know.
No, because he wants to be the upper hand one.
Well, I know, but I'm saying that one of them is going to backstab the other. And it'll be interesting to see where Marvel is going with Loki's story. Like, is this Tom Hiddleston, the actor? Is this his final performance? Because now the girl who plays Sylvie, who plays Lady Loki, is it her turn to be in the MCU for a few years?
Oh, I see.
You know,
that's a big possibility. Yeah.
So it you know, who knows what's going to happen? Like, we have no confirmation that Loki's going to be in Multiverse of Madness. We don't know if he's going to show up in Doctor Strange. We know for sure that he did die. Like, that is legitimate. Thanos did kill him, so he is technically dead already.
Yeah.
So is this the final, or is Marvel going to go a few seasons with him? Like, will they do 2-3 season run with him? This is all new territory. We don't know what Marvel's going to do with TV shows. We don't know what seasons they're going to go to. We don't know anything, and they're keeping it very close to the vest. Here's
another crazy thing that I saw a video on, and they broke it down. Tony Stark, like when you're seeing Endgame. He basically tells Doctor
Strange.
No, he tells Cap that how when Thanos from the past comes into the future and destroys their location.
Yeah,
and he's like, when you tend to mess with time, it tends to mess back with you.
Yeah.
And then he looks at him and says, "You'll see." And so some people are breaking it down, and during the movie when they went to different time locations, Cap grabbed 4 of the particles.
The pim particles. Yeah,
he grabbed 4 of them. So during that time before Cap went back
to put the stones back in place after the mission was done.
Right before they were even working on the gloves.
Yeah,
you could see that they had different outfits and everything. So time already had passed. So they're saying that Tony actually went back to certain times, so he knows what actually.
Again, too much of a stretch. Too much of a stretch.
They're basically, he knows that what's coming up ahead.
Too much of a stretch.
I can't wait. I hope that's true, because I'll be awesome if they throw some more Easter eggs on that he kind of like knew like
that's people.
Because Tony knew a lot, man.
That's people's wishful thinking on that. That's too much of a stretch.
I don't know, man.
I can't go there. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what Disney does with all this, where they go. I mean, the amount of the TV shows that are coming out is crazy, and so let's finish up with Loki, because I do want to talk about some other things, but I want to say for this episode, I love the build up, I love the reveal, and I don't know, man. This show to me continues to be funny, continues to be mysterious.
It has everything. I mean, there's
and it's slow.
Yeah,
that's the weird part. It's slow, but I love it
in a good way.
Yeah, like so.
It's
right
like when you're dancing like a slow dance, and you're just enjoying it.
Slow dancing. That looked like Spider-Man behind him, by the way. When rewind it just a little bit. Rewind it just a tiny bit. You see right there?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think it's Alienware, but it looked like Spider-Man. It looked like Miles Morales, in fact. But yeah, this show I watch it at least 2 times during the week, because we're having like a Saturday night watch party at our house with the projector.
Yeah.
So we have a couple family people that come over, and it's just, it's like I get to see a new little layer every single time. And it's just super enjoyable, especially Tom Hiddleston, like the way that he's playing it.
Oh,
he's just funny and heartbreaking.
All
and
the actors in general are just doing an amazing job.
They are, but I love him and his focus, like the focus on him and the way that he's playing. I mean, we'll talk about episode 3 next week, but even episode 3 when he's talking about his mom, we'll go through all that. But it's just like. There's just they've given him a chance to grow the character in a way that we never got to see. Like the other times, he was pretty funny, like in the movies. But
I mean, there's a reason why he has a fan base, and people just love this character of Loki.
Yeah, and I mean, and this really kind of, in my opinion, these shows really. Give you a good reason why to why to love him, because it's just phenomenal.
I still don't get it either, man. This is what year is this? 2050, and they're still using
2050.
They're still using the same vacuum that we have right now. Come on, man, we got to get it together.
Well, there's no better way to vacuum than the vacuums that we currently have. No. 10,000 years from now, it'll still be the same vacuum. So anyway, that was our Loki 2 Easter egg breakdown and / review. There's just a fantastic show. Fantastic acting.
Yeah, I'm loving this.
The pacing is great. The characters are great. Where they're putting the characters in harm's way, they actually got to that pretty fast when I was thinking about it. Episode 2 all of a sudden puts the Time Variance Authority in major danger.
Yeah. And
it's so much quicker than normal shows where sometimes it takes 5-6 episodes before you get to that point. Immediately, what Sylvie has done is put everything into jeopardy. Yeah. And she doesn't see it that way. Like she sees it as correcting something.
Yeah.
But because we know the history of the MCU, you can see all of these.
I still want to know more of her. I can't talk about that. Never mind.
Yeah.
But
it's fascinating.
What does she say here? Yeah, she says it here, Trizian, right? Because she's been, and this was Trizian when she's talking to him.
No.
No, she doesn't.
No. No.
It's in the other one.
Yeah, it won't be until next week that we'll break that one down.
Okay.
So hold your horses, son.
There's the branch. For one moment, the guy with the mustache.
Yeah, the cowboy.
Yeah, I thought it was the character from WandaVision.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I had it like,
I know. It
look
totally,
at him twice.
totally looked
that would have
like
been kind of cool if that would have been him.
That would have been
That would have
funny.
been like a variant of him.
Wait, oh, look at that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's when you see all the names.
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, here's her name right here. So, did they show it? Oh, they didn't.
No, it's not when she writes.
Oh, when she's talking to him earlier.
Yeah, and she does like the signing. It says something Slayer.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. When Mobius picked up the pen.
Yeah,
And he's looking at it, and he's like, "Oh, you got another person on the side," and your belief is that there's another Mobius that is doing.
Yeah.
My thing
It's
is
another variant.
My thing is
because in the comic books he's a duplicate.
But yes, a duplicate of several duplicates.
Yeah.
But in this episode 2, I went from thinking she was like cute and funny to not trusting her. I got major bad vibes from her.
100%.
Yeah, it was really weird. And there's nothing to base it on right now. I don't know, but I'm just And Loki makes his escape.
I still want to see him in a jet ski.
It will happen. We will see.
And he needs to be like, wow. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. I wanted to.
I saw a video of all his wows.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. At our house, that's kind of one of our things with the kids. Wow. Yeah. But I wanted to switch gears now. That was our Loki talk. Again, for me, episode 2 was another 5 sombrero easily.
100%.
So far,
see those rings right there?
Yeah. So far, this show to me has just been super excellent in the storytelling, the pacing.
It's kablooey, man. That's what it is.
It's kablooey. But I want to switch gears. Did you see the second trailer for Suicide Squad?
I did. I did.
Dude, I cannot wait.
It looks so much fun. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a lot of fun.
What's his name's character is sitting next to the weasel? He's like, "Did you sit me next to a werewolf? Am I next to a werewolf?" He's going, "No, it's not a werewolf. He's a weasel, and he hasn't killed any. Okay, he's killed 26 kids, but he's like." and the fact that they revealed Starro.
Oh yeah.
And it looks insane.
It looks really good. I can't wait to watch that one.
And I'm almost kind of sad because I get the feeling that Shark King is not going to make it. Just based on the second trailer, I feel like he's going to die.
Because he gets smacked?
Because he gets grabbed by Starro.
And throws him.
He's being like swung.
Yeah, he launches him to the wall.
But dude, it's so funny when they're talking at the end, and he's like, "Bird." He's like, "Get off the chair." So, it just passed. But James Gunn directed the second entry into the Suicide Squad, and it looks insane.
Yeah.
And fun. But it just looks like a crazy, mad, good time. I cannot wait.
There's two movies I saw this past week, and I'm not sure if you've seen them yet.
What?
They're Disney flicks. Cruella.
Okay.
And
I didn't see Cruella.
And Luca.
I saw Luca.
Luca.
Yeah, I saw Luca, but I didn't see Cruella.
Oh, okay.
I had no interest in seeing Cruella.
Oh, really? I did, and I enjoyed it. It was actually really, really good.
That's good.
The beginning, the beginning, like the first, I think maybe 10-15 minutes was a little slow because you're going through her childhood. But
I love Emma Stone, by the way.
Exactly. Likewise.
Yeah, Emma Stone's great.
Once she becomes Emma Stone, I was like,
that makes no sense. You mean once she becomes Cruella?
She's Emma Stone. That's just but yeah, when she becomes, Cruella, it was really good. And the way towards the end, how they throw, it's because of her how George and Anita.
Okay.
In the meeting, because and you find out why she hates
The dogs.
yeah the poodles. But I actually really enjoyed it. I didn't know it was because like the other original 101 Dalmatians, the live action versions.
Yeah.
I couldn't care for those. I never liked those.
No, I didn't like the Glenn Close one. I saw it. It was just too over the top.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it at all.
Yeah. This was, and what I like about it is it shows her becoming a fashion model. Cruella, because that's what she is. She's
a fashion model or a fashion
I'm sorry,
designer?
Fashion designer. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said model.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, she's pretty for sure. So I get it.
That's the reason why I said model.
Yeah,
but
I get it.
But a fashion designer, and it's really good. Like how they put it all together, and yeah, I could see her why she becomes. I mean, she had a rough life.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why I didn't want to see it, because I have no interest in I have no interest in humanizing the villains. Like I don't want to care about them. I like.
What's the difference between watching Loki when they're humanizing him as well?
They're kind of not to me. Well,
you just said it earlier that he's being more likable. And
no, likable is not humanizing.
That's still being.
He's hilarious, but I don't trust him at all. But he's also very entertaining, and we've also been with him through, I mean, almost 10 years of the Loki life. Yeah. Cruella to me is it's not the same thing. I don't have that connection with her, and I don't like. Here's what I have an affection and a connection for the original cartoon.
Yeah.
So to make the leap for me, and this is just me personally, to make the leap from that to the live action movie, I don't care about her past. I have no interest in it.
Oh,
to me,
yeah. I mean, that's your take.
Yeah.
There's so many people that are into like villains.
Yeah, for sure.
They're gonna be like really, really into it, and you know me,
they already approved a sequel.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh,
so it did well. It did really well. The people really liked it. So yeah, that's just my.
Oh no,
I watched like the Maleficent movies, and I didn't like them for that very reason. I don't like I
haven't seen the second one yet.
The first one was enough to put a bad taste in my mouth, because it turned her from being a real villain from the original to caring about Sleeping Beauty. I just don't like that kind of retcon. To me, it just doesn't, like if they'd gone the other way.
I get your perspective.
And they'd shown her full force of like why she's evil, and she maintained her evilness. What I would have liked is her to be dangerous in the movie, dangerous to the kingdom, dangerous to everybody, and almost like a force of nature. Instead, again, they turned her into a people.
Right.
So if you haven't seen the second one, but she comes from people that have wings that are like bird people or whatever. Yeah. I'm just like I'm not.
You seen the second one?
Yeah, I'm not. I
thought you said you only seen the first one.
No, I saw the second one because it's on Disney Plus now.
Oh,
so it's just but it just doesn't. Yeah, it's just. There's some ways that I'm like stuck in my brain, and I'll always have a fondness for these specific things. Rather than like. That being said, hey man, more power to whoever likes the reimaginings or likes the retcons and the switches or whatever. That's great. But other than the Jungle Book, I haven't liked any of the live action.
Really, none of them.
No, the Jungle Book was excellent.
Have you seen Pete's Dragon?
Yeah, didn't like it.
Didn't like that one.
No.
Oh, that's one of my favorite ones.
Didn't like it.
Wow.
Yeah, I have children, so I've seen almost all of them.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other live action. I did like Beauty and the Beast. That was pretty good. Cinderella, I didn't enjoy.
That's the one my kids did like. My kids like that one a lot.
It was really boring to me.
Yeah,
I can't think of any other. I haven't even seen Snow White.
But they've had.
I think that's called the Huntsman, is it?
Yeah, and that was no good.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Hemsworth in that was excellent, but that's not made by Disney. That's made by another company.
Oh, so that's not the Disney one then. So Disney hasn't done their live action version.
They just announced Snow White. They just announced the actress that is going to be playing Snow White.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she's a pretty young, like Hispanic thing that is going to be playing Snow White.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's just the live action ones to me. you know, like Mulan was a disaster, Dumbo
Yeah.
was a disaster.
I haven't seen Dumbo yet.
Yeah, yeah, you still got to watch Dumbo.
I'm thinking of watching. You said
yeah.
you've seen them all then, huh?
Yeah, and I just no.
None of them, huh? Wow.
Yeah,
I did see Lion King, and that was awful.
there you go.
Oh.
And it's by one of my favorite directors. I love him. So just, you know, it's a bummer.
That was,
But-
it couldn't compete with. I mean, it was basically the same thing exactly. And they had to change some of the wording just because to make it different, and it just
Yeah.
made it worse.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but the same director that did that, which is Jean Favreau, was
Yeah.
the same director that did Jungle Book, and I love Jungle Book.
Yeah, Jungle Book came out really good. I even
Yeah.
like the other one too.
Oh, the non-Disney Jungle Book,
Yeah,
one,
that
which was
one's-
more intense.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but I know about it.
Yeah, that one's really good, really good.
Yeah.
The graphics are not to par with
Right,
Disney,
right,
but
right, right,
still,
right.
if you
Yeah.
kind of get away from that, it's really, really well done.
Speaking of John Favreau, I did want to talk just a second because I wanted to go back to something in the MCU.
One Mississippi.
I saw Iron Man 2.
Uh-huh.
Man, I love that movie so much.
Oh, yeah, it's really
I
good.
forgot that I love that movie because it's kind of like a lot like Thor, the second Thor.
I like that character, the one that's like, this is the
Dude,
the
Hammer. Justin Hammer.
Yeah.
He's so awesome.
this is the Cuban cigar. This is the whatever.
Yeah,
I can't even say the line.
He's such a great actor, dude. But-
Because did you ever see the not the outtakes but the bloopers on it and what's his name
I'm sure I did, but it's been forever.
but the black guy what's his name Patreon or
Patreon.
what is it? His name,
Rhodey, man.
Rhodey, yeah, but
Patreon.
because he calls himself Patreon in that one.
No, he
Oh,
calls himself Patriot.
Oh,
Iron
Patriot.
Patriot.
Iron Patriot.
Patreon is what people.
That's right. That's right.
I love you, by the way.
He wants money. That's
Yeah, Rhodey.
Rhodey. Was it even? He's like he can't keep a straight face in that scene. He's just laughing.
Yeah. Well, he's such a good actor. The guy that plays Justin Hammer.
Yeah.
He's incredible, man. And everything he's done, like everything he's ever done that I've watched him, and I love him.
And then what's his name is in there too? The guy that they wrote Iron Tony Stark on what's his name? Tesla guy.
He's in a scene in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Elon
which
Musk,
was,
yeah.
which I was like,
Yeah.
what? When I saw that, I totally had forgotten.
Yeah.
100%. But man, I love that movie. Like, it's such a great watch.
And that's one of my favorite suits too. The suitcase. Like the way he puts that on.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Looking back at it now, it's impractical. Like, he would have been killed in the time that it takes for it to come on. But yeah, I still love that the design and the way. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. What was I gonna say? Oh, anyway, let's move on to Superman.
Oh, hold on.
Okay, go.
Black Widow I feel like she looked the best in that one too.
I mean, yeah.
Oh my gosh, man.
Of course, but you know,
Especially that boxing scene where it was hilarious.
why don't you show her something? Have you ever boxed before? Yeah, a little. Whoa! My favorite part is
I would have
when,
loved to spar with her.
when she walks away and he's talking to Pepper and he's like, "I want one," and she goes, "No." Yeah, man, that is like a fresh-faced, young Black Widow.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody looks so young in that movie. From Happy to Pepper to everybody just looks so like baby face. It's crazy.
Have you seen that Instagram video of her? She has like a laptop with she has like blonde hair, and then she shows the laptop and it's Black Widow with the red hair. And then when she has like this music playing, and then she takes off the laptop, and it's her, but now she has like the red hair.
No.
And I'm like, dude, man, she's on point.
Yeah, but I had forgotten too that when he does a search for her, she's like a underwear model.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And he's all like enlarging it too.
And then when she's changing in the back of the car and Happy's driving,
Oh yeah, and he's like looking through the mirror.
he almost crashes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was probably. I'm gonna say that was probably a pretty risque movie as far as MCU goes by MCU standards, because they were playing a lot with her, how her looks and how good looking she was and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just such a fun movie to watch, and I totally got people's idea too about like how the MCU kept killing off villains, and I'm glad that like they didn't do that with Zemo. I'm glad that they haven't done that with a couple of other characters from the MCU. But the MCU tends to kill off their villains too quickly, too easily, because they killed off Whiplash. That was his name.
Well, they do that, and then they bring them back in some other way, either through like a flashback, or they do something with the timeline.
But you just know you're not really ever gonna see them again. Like Killmonger is gone. You're not gonna see Killmonger again. You're not gonna see Whiplash again. The one thing too that I had forgotten that I found really amusing and tickled me was Sitwell, the black guy with the glasses, the bald black guy with the glasses, who was in almost every single MCU, and he ends up getting killed in Captain America: Winter Soldier. He gets pulled out of the car. He's a Hydra guy, and he's not.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it tickled me to go back and look and see him pop up in all these different movies. And same thing with like Agent Coulson, to see him in the early days, to see him pop up in all these different.
And again, we still see him again in a flashback, like when they go, like in the game, in Endgame, when they go back in time.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing with that. It's just we know that there's an end to those characters, that we will never see them again in a capacity of where they're like actively moving the story forward.
Well,
you
like
know
Loki,
what I mean?
like we see his file in.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. That's the thing that I was saying earlier. Like, Loki is, we know no matter what, he's dead.
Yeah.
Which is, again,
So I think you're probably like onto something, that she's gonna be like the replacement.
maybe, yeah. I don't know. But you're putting Superman on?
Yeah, it's on. I just had it on pause.
Don't pause
Because
it.
I wanted to talk about the beginning of this, because this is the conversation we had last week.
Okay, so that was the end of the Loki conversation. We're moving on to Superman.
El Superman con su mexicano daddy.
So what about the beginning of this?
Oh, no, well, this is not the beginning, of course, but it's because it's.
Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
what do you call it? The synopsis.
Yeah. When he meets him, like, remember how we were like you're thinking it was Zod?
Yeah.
And then I didn't think it was his brother, but then I find out that it is his brother, but it's not Zod.
Yeah.
It's Todd.
It's Todd.
I was close. I said Tim. But I'm not feeling that.
I am.
I'm
totally feeling it.
I'm not feeling it, man.
I'm totally feeling. I love it. I love this. I love this.
Because when they started talking about his past and how he was the first one to arrive.
Yeah.
And then he's getting like, he arrives in Britain, right?
He arrived in the southern version of Britain, like the American southern, like redneck British people shooting.
I know, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And so,
what are you doing here, boy?
Yeah. So knowing what he went through, and then so we know Superman, when he arrived with meteor showers from the planet blowing up. He didn't. He didn't. So although
we don't know that,
because he was sent there way before he says it here. He was sent way before he was there. He arrived. That's why he's a little bit older than him. Also, he left there at like, maybe he was 12 years old, or
right here. He looks like he's 9 or 10
or 10, whatever.
Yeah.
What's his name? The way how we depict how they get their powers, and like his parents are the one that taught him how to hone it and whatever. He goes all mad and crazy.
So what Kenny's talking about, just for you guys to understand, Kenny's describing the difference between
Todd,
Superman, and his half brother that we find out in the show in this current episode was sent here to Earth maybe a few years before Krypton blew up.
Yeah,
I don't think that's actually what happened, but I'm not going to argue with you on that point right now. I think they were both sent here because the planet was getting destroyed.
Because he even
way,
says that he was the first one there.
yeah, but that just means that he got launched a little bit earlier than Superman did.
So, going back to the meteor shower thing, those meteor showers all landed in Smallville. So that's where...
No, they landed all over the world. It
Was
even
it all
says
over
that,
the
yeah, it says that on the episode.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That's why you find different types of kryptonite in different places. So, like,
That's
in
true. They had the
Smallville,
yellow ones.
yeah.
You're right on that. But again, when he's in jail, they're not...
Shoulders for days, baby.
When he's in jail, when they have
Yeah.
him in... they're capturing him like he's like a regular person. Like,
Well, you know what they did to him in jail. They captured him and they made sure that he stayed out of the sun. So
well, they don't know. They don't know that.
No, they didn't know that. The people.
How would they know that?
The people knew. The people that captured him somehow figured out that the sun.
No, that's your assumption.
But that's why they put him. I mean, look.
No, all jail cells have always been underground or
Are you insane?
Especially back in the days in those Britain areas, they're gonna have a lot of jail cells there.
What year do you think he landed in?
No, but this is in Britain. They have a lot of old buildings over there.
Yeah, but they still have buildings. Look, I just saw Paddington 2. They have regular prisons that
Right.
lead to the outside. The way that this plays, this episode plays it out, is somehow those people figure out. Well, first of all, they know he's an alien. They know that, number one.
Yeah.
So, and two, they, whether by accident or and I would say, I'll give it to you that maybe by accident they buried him deep underground to keep him a complete secret, and maybe they didn't know that the sun gave him his powers, which is why they didn't know that when they were leading him through that hallway and he saw sunlight, he broke away and immediately ran to that source and then reactivated his abilities. But whatever the case, they beat him up when he's still weak, they capture him, they take him underground. They hold him underground where he can get zero sunlight, so then he's the same strength as a human being, and then when they're transferring him, that's when he gets the opportunity to reignite his abilities, and then he burns the place down. That is what happens.
That's what they show, but again,
I'm feeling all of it.
I'm feeling
kudos
all
to
of
you,
because I'm definitely not, and this is what I'm afraid of now. Because this, what is it? CW. What's the name with the other movies that I like
Flash,
Arrow,
Supergirl.
No, not Supergirl. But those two main ones, I enjoyed, and then towards the end, I fell off, and I was listening to other feedbacks that also had like the same kind of feelings that I had, that a lot of people are not feeling it, and I just found out that a lot of people are not feeling this either. Like a lot of people are not watching. There's some people that are saying like, you gotta watch this. It's actually really, really good.
Well, that's really weird because they just came out with a report literally saying the CW said this is their highest rated show that they have right now.
Was there only
this is blowing away all. No, they have Batgirl's Flash.
Oh, those are
they have a ton of I mean, the CW has turned into the teen drama show and the superhero show, because they have Legends of Tomorrow. They have I think Black Lightning was the only one that was removed, but
who has Cloak? Is it Cloak and Daggers? Cloak and Daggers. Cloak and Daggers.
Cloak and Dagger was Marvel. It was through Hulu.
Oh, that's Marvel.
It was that's Marvel. Cloak and Dagger is Marvel.
I wasn't sure that was DC.
Yeah, so was Runaways is also Marvel.
And then this upset me too. He knew that he had a brother, and he never tells him about him during the. Like, to me, that doesn't make any sense for him not to know that he had another stepbrother, or not stepbrother, but half brother. And so I'm like afraid that they're gonna go through the same steps what they did with Flash and Arrow, where their stories are not gonna be as good anymore, and it's gonna start dropping. That's where I'm at right now. I'm hoping that's not the case. But
I don't know. I'm gonna finish out the season.
Yeah,
but there's other.
Because it started off. I mean, I'm loving it, and then this one,
I love this one.
It pulled me away.
I loved it.
And
there's other things that are gonna pull me away from this, and they have nothing to do with this storyline.
Yeah,
it's only gonna have to do with social issue stuff. If they start cramming social issue things down my throat, I'm out.
Like when you have like all these other Kryptonians.
Yeah.
They're attacking them, and they always figure out like a way how to get rid of all of them, and using like them all shooting the laser. They're all shooting at exactly the same thing, and then them landing also like they're up.
Yeah, but that makes complete sense because they're all firing at him.
Yeah, but for all the lasers just to hit that specific.
Because they're all firing at
they
him.
could be hitting him, trying to hit his head, his legs, or anything like that.
They were all zombie-like in one spot.
They could, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
mind that. And then once they turn into regular people, you automatically see them waking up from the ground. You know they'll be all dead landing.
Don't you remember what she said? It's going to take weeks. So that's what I was telling my wife. My wife was like, how did they all survive? And I'm like, if you remember, Superman's mom says, after this event happens, it's going to take weeks or months for them to burn off all of their abilities.
Oh, okay.
So they're
hear that. Okay.
they're going to maintain the crypto, which I was telling my wife, like, that's going to have another set of problems for Smallville, because you're going to have now regular people that have some access to those kind of abilities.
That's if they don't show you that. Like next episode could be a week later.
Or it could be months later.
Yeah.
But that would put everybody in an interesting situation of like being superpowered and then having to depower slowly.
Yeah.
Like I imagine some people would go into depression. You know,
The only characters I liked a lot from here were the kids. Like
I love the kids. The kids are
the
cool.
kid,
Yeah.
like him, especially
Oh,
them.
and I loved her mom.
And then
I too. I mean, I loved his mom. I loved the when she
Lana.
when she took over, or like
Yeah.
Superman's mom took over her body. That was cool.
Yeah, people are saying like, imagine it would have been Lois. That would have been so weird.
That would have been so gross. I mean, but it all made sense to why it couldn't be Lois, why it had to be Lana, because Lana has had exposure for her whole life living in Smallville, so she was able to house
True.
Superman's mom.
But the Lana's daughter, I like her a lot.
Yeah,
too.
I like her a lot,
I like the fact too. The boy, the one that's always telling his grandpa like his morals are all bad. Him at least saying the truth to the girl.
Yeah.
Like, because you never see that, and I love the fact that.
Well, that's one thing that I've been liking of how the boys, how they push the boundary of like, let's be honest about this.
And this right here too, he could have easily just killed him right there.
Well,
if that was the point to kill him, I'm like, why? What's the point of holding them down? You know?
I mean, well, you know what? What's interesting, I forgot about this. Right when you said he could have easily killed them, he actually couldn't have easily killed them because she had the kryptonite. He wasn't able to do his full super strength thing. So, because I was like, how did she beat him down? And I forgot she had a big old chunk of kryptonite.
Yeah, she had the chunk of it. Yes. But instead of grabbing him, he could have just easily just punched, and that would have been it.
He could have, but he didn't for whatever reason. I don't know. Look,
I don't know.
I'm not an evil bad guy, so I don't know. And then at
That's
the same
the way I would do it.
well, yeah, exactly. See?
I don't know. So this one pulled me away. So
I loved it
because like I enjoyed every other episode.
Shoulders for days. I loved it. I want to get that shirt too, right there.
Which one?
The one that Clark is wearing.
That is a nice shirt.
Yeah.
Why is that so funny? No, because I agree. That's a really nice
That's
shirt.
a nice shirt.
I like those type of shirts. I actually have something similar, but I need to get it a little bit longer. My sis.
Too short.
Well, when I left my arms, like you start seeing like my.
Yeah, but anyway, for me, Superman has continued to be a high mark show for me. I really enjoy it. Superman and Lois, I'm really digging a lot. I'm digging the like you mentioned, the interaction with the kids, the way that the parents are dealing with stuff, the mystery of it all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that they didn't kill off his half brother because I want to see what other like problems he's gonna bring to the table, and then they left that one.
Remember how you're saying why would like they wouldn't do that? Like bring in a character that people don't know. Did you know about that character?
Well, I know about the house, the house that they mentioned, Rokal or whatever. The I know that from the comic books.
Yeah,
which they're not doing it here, but that's the house that Zod comes from.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed this little half brother twist because I want to see where they take it. It's just like in the twist that in the comic books.
Yeah.
Superman and Lois don't have two sons.
Yeah, exactly.
They only have Jonathan.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm really enjoying the fact that they brought in this extra son and that they're playing off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind the mythology that they're adding.
Right.
To me, it's exciting because it's gonna take an old school Superman reader and lover like me, and it's gonna take me into waters that I've never been to before.
True.
So
True.
I
That's
really
it.
like
They
that.
do it right at the moment. Like again, I know you're liking this at this point right now. I'm a little turned off, but knowing that there's so many other type of villains that they could create,
And I think those villains are coming. I really do. I really think.
I hope so, man. Because at the moment,
I really think
it seems like they're creating new ones instead of using the stuff that they have in the past. I
And
would have
which-
preferred Zod right now, to be honest with you. And I didn't want Zod.
Actually, I'm totally against you. I prefer that they create new villains because the problem that I've been having for the last few years, it's been driving me insane, is that they've been taking characters that we all grew up with, that we were familiar, that are established, and then they've been giving them new histories for no reason. Like, literally...
what do you mean new histories?
So, Iceman from the X-Men
Okay.
is gay now. When traditionally, he's never been that.
What about Loki?
What about Loki?
He's bisexual.
Right. But Loki's
I'm not sure. Has he been
Loki's
that?
always been that way.
No, in the comic books.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Loki has always been the way that Loki is. But I much prefer make a new character and establish them as that. As like whatever identity is
I agree with you
that they
100,
are, rather than take they did the same thing with the Green Lantern, not Hal Jordan, but the Green Lantern before that. The very first Green Lantern,
The one that sucked.
I don't know. I thought he was great.
The Green Lantern.
The very first Green
The guy
Lantern.
that plays Deadpool.
No, that's Hal Jordan. No, not that Green Lantern. In the comic books, there's a Green Lantern that's before the Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, and his powers are not directly connected to the Green Lanterns. It's more magic based. Anyway,
okay.
That Green Lantern, he's got children in the comics. He's been married. All this stuff. They retconned him too, and they turned him gay as well.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, but it makes sense for like I said, it's like an agenda-driven thing.
Yeah.
Rather than just create a character that is the representation that you're looking for that. Like,
exactly.
There's more than enough room to bring in characters with even. Look, at the end of the day, every character shares every other character's powers.
Yeah.
Right. But they're like, we're gonna completely change this character, everything that they've ever been, and the people that it ended up turning off and going, I don't want to read this anymore. Those people got labeled as being hateful, rather than than the consideration or the possibility that those people grew up with that character their whole life,
exactly.
and they just thought, well, that's not the character that I grew up with anymore, so I have no interest in reading this new character, and it's been skinned with the skin of the old character,
right.
But this is not Bobby Drake anymore, or this is not whoever it might be. Bobby Drake is Iceman, but whatever character name or whatever original character, and you change it. It just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. It just make new characters that have, and it's for the sake of continuity.
Right.
Now, people, there's really valid arguments. Like, Spider-Man has been married, and Spider-Man has been not married, and
right.
Spider-Man has been, like that keeps going back and forth, and people would say it the same way. They would go, well, do you have a problem with that? Actually, I do, but. The way that they've solved those,
but those are different. Those are different multiverses, right?
No, it's just a way that they've dealt with it. Like, Spider-Man was in college, and then he became an adult, and he was working at the Daily Bugle. He had met MJ. Whatever the history was, whether it was in school or whether it was later. He gets married to MJ. And then there's an event that happens where the writers and Marvel decided and agreed that he should be single it'd be better if he was single. So what they did is they made Mephisto come into his step into his life and put him in an impossible choice where Peter could keep people that he loved alive, but in order to do that, he had to sacrifice something. So in the comics, he sacrificed his relationship with MJ, and it was as if he had never been married. That all got wiped away.
That's one of the comic book issues. That's one of the comic book issues.
That not one comic book. That's a storyline.
Oh, a story. Okay.
Yeah, that's a comic book storyline.
Yeah.
So
there's so many story. Like you said, different storylines, different arcs and stuff.
And when it comes to wiping away that portion of the character's history, whether Peter Parker is married or not, actually has nothing to do with the character Peter Parker. That's Peter being married is not an essential characteristic of his person.
No,
it's something that is in his life. So getting married is like having a child. It's a momentous event. So let's say, or having his Aunt May get killed, for example.
Yeah.
But those are things that are happening to the character. It doesn't fundamentally change who Peter Parker is. But if they introduced Peter Parker now as gay, that would change who Peter Parker is, because all of a sudden, all of his decisions, all of his choices, all the way that he looks at life, that completely changes. So his interactions with everybody completely
Why
changes.
do you think Raimi's Part 3 failed? Remember?
That's right, when he's dancing. He's getting close. He's getting close. So it's just, they did that to Iceman. They completely switched him out.
I didn't know they did that to Iceman.
Yeah, and they've done it to a few characters.
Which movie? You said X-Men, right?
Yeah, but not a movie, comic book.
Oh, in the comic book.
Yeah, in the comic book.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm like, I don't remember.
But I guarantee you that by the time we see him in the MCU, when they introduce him in the MCU, that he's going to be, that's the Iceman you're going to get. You're going to get that Iceman. You're not going to get the original Iceman. That's not going to happen.
Right.
Now, Marvel has come out with, they created a character named American Chavez, and she, right off the bat, is gay. And
this is a new character that they created.
It's a new character that they created.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, they're just there's and American Chavez kind of looks kind of like a little bit of a mixture. Her costume looks a little bit like a Captain America style, and then also Captain Marvel. She looks. But again, just make new characters, and then I know why they're doing it. Well, the reason that they do it with the old characters, why they switch them up, is because that's already a built-in reader base.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
So it's
something that's popular.
You can't fail.
Yeah.
So once you have,
you can.
But you can. Yes, you can definitely. You can turn people off and make people go, I don't want to read this.
Batgirl's one of them. That's one of the reasons.
But even with that, I'll disagree with that, because there's multiple Batgirls.
True.
So the nice thing about that is, if you don't want to read Cassandra Cain Batgirl, you don't have to, because there's Barbara Gordon,
right?
Batgirl, or there's another Batgirl that's like a mute. She came out way early on. She's
that one I don't know.
So there's multiple women Batgirls or whatever that you can choose to go read about, just like there's multiple Robins. So here, that's the other thing. They've had multiple Robins. If one of the next Robins comes out, one of the next partners for Batman, and that Robin happens to be gay, nobody's going to push up against that. Nobody's going to go, oh, how dare you? Because it won't be Tim Drake, and it won't be Jason Todd, and it won't be those characters. It'll be a different Robin.
Right.
Batman has multiple Robins, so it just makes sense.
I just can't picture Batman.
What?
I don't know. I was gonna be looking at him all different. He's like, all right.
Yeah, what's going on, Boy Wonder? Yeah, it just
it's gonna remind me of the movie you didn't like, the one I told you about, Zorro with the Gay Blade.
Oh, yeah.
he's gonna have a flamboyant costume.
Little tassels. Yeah, I know why they do it. Why the comic book companies, why the writers, why the people that make the decisions, why they do it, because it's easier to slide into a built-in fan base and to collect those dollars than it is to be original and come up with something that has a good foundation, good solid, foundation that people can latch onto and go, this is great. I mean, Marvel had an initiative. I'm not even kidding you. We could talk about it on another episode, where they came out with these extreme characters of representations of things that are happening now. There was like a woke character. There was an internet character. There was yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. And
when was this?
Like 7-8 months ago or something like that. They announced it and it went nowhere. Just nobody was interested in reading it.
Yeah.
Nobody was interested in.
So they created a comic book of this? Or
yeah. No, a comic book. Yeah. Comic book. And if the character is written well and it's written by a really great writer who is
passionate
and is giving you really good stories, people are going to be less interested in the character's sexuality or what they do in their personal life, and more interested we were talking about Mark Miller a while back, the guy that created some of the stories that we're now seeing in the MCU.
Yeah.
He had created an amalgam of DC characters called The Authority. So The Authority was written by him and it was drawn by Brian Hitch. In it, the main one of the main characters was basically a representation of Superman. It was his version of Superman. Same powers, except his suit was like white and yellow. And he do you remember who Richard Gere is?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what he looked like, but like a buff Richard Gere. Like that's what the character looked like. He had white hair, really good looking. Okay, that character and another character in the comic book, the Midnighter, which represented Batman. That's what that character looked like.
Yeah.
Both of them were lovers. Okay, so you got those two guys. Then you've got this other character, Jenny Sparks, who's the leader of the whole thing.
Yeah.
When you look through the entire roster, it was filled with a variety of lifestyles and people, whatever. But the focus wasn't on that. The focus was on what they were doing, who they were trying to save. It just so happened that that's who they were, and it was brought up in the comic books. It was part of the storyline, but it wasn't the story. The story was them literally trying to save the world, first from this megalomaniac 10 Rings style Mandarin guy, first from that, and then later from this entity that was coming from outer space. It was coming back to Earth. It was going to try to take it over. Just great stories.
Yeah.
I mean, science fiction, very big. The artwork was incredible and beautiful, and that stuff, those ideas of what I was describing, woven into all that. Written by Mark Millar, who is a Catholic, and he's not a mild Catholic.
Right.
He's a hardcore Catholic.
It's like the comic book series Invincible. His best friend is gay. There's even a part where he's talking about his dad, and Invincible is like, dude, don't go there, because he's saying that his dad is, but he doesn't know that is his dad. But there's an episode where he I guess he had a fling with this college student guy, and they're going to go to that college place because they're planning to go to the college that he's going to. And there's a whole scene about him, and they end up basically turning his gay partner into a cyborg. This guy basically captures him and messes him up. It's
a storyline for the guy that was at the school.
Yeah.
He kept capturing people and turning them into bombs.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is they create, they have stories out there.
Yeah, of course.
And it works, and it's one of the best animated series and comic books too.
Yeah.
That's really good. So they have sources. They don't know which ones to pick out, I guess.
Well, it's not just that.
Or
it's laziness sometimes,
Yeah.
in my opinion. It's laziness of you don't take the time to build up again. But anybody out there who wants to, anybody out there who's offended by something like The Authority, don't read it. But anybody who likes action and big adventure and science fiction, it's one of my favorites. I own like this huge, like the hardbound, like a slipcase, like a extra. It's beautiful. I'll bring it over sometime so you can. I know you haven't read the books that I gave you already because you're a loser. I know. I don't even have to ask. I know you. I know you. But yeah, it's a great series. And if they turn that into, if they ended up, and they should, but if they turned it into a movie, I'm telling you, nobody would bump up against it. They'd just be like, this is this is a really great storytelling. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. It comes to great storytelling. There's a in Warrior, the Bruce Lee one. Yeah. In season 2, there's a new character that they bring in that's coming from China because the one of the main gangster, like the top, I guess, lord, you call him, is bringing in more recruitment because he knows it's going to be like a battle, and one of them is this China guy, really cool guy. Find out that he's gay, and the Bruce Lee character and his friend, he finds out because they're like at a what are those called, burlesque, is it? Yeah, burlesque show. Yeah, and the ladies dancing. Oh, this is more than a burlesque then. Oh, okay. So, are they at a prostitute house? I guess you could. Yeah, that'll be that. So they're going there to because he's like the guy that's gay is acting like he's not. Oh, I see. And so he goes there, and then the Bruce Lee guy ends up catching them kissing a guy, and then he goes up to him and say, "You're not gonna," because especially back in that day, right. It would have been. Yeah. And he's like, no. And then the other guy finds out about it too. The one that likes using like the knife. He's awesome, man. But because he knows how to, like, this guy that's gay, he knows how to fight, like, because he's trying to befriend them and they don't want to be friends with him, right? And not for that particular reason, just because he's a new guy or whatever. Right. But then they end up going to this other gang place, and he goes off on them using like these strings, like they're like beads, and he's using that as a weapon, and that's like his main weapon or whatever. And then the other guy's like, oh, this guy's crazy, and so then these other people that are in the same gang, that they're making fun of him because they found out that he's gay. Oh, okay. And then so the not the Bruce Lee character guy, but the other guy that's the knives guy. Yeah, he beats up all of them because he knows that he's really, really good, and so he's defending him. So it just shows that there's place for this, and he's one of my favorite characters, man. He's awesome. Yeah. Look, again, it goes back to the idea that my personal conclusion, even as a Christian, what you do in your private life is not my business. Yeah. So for me to judge you on what you do in your private life that's not my place. So why do I feel like you're always judging me? Why do you always be judging me just because I believe in science? But that's not my place, and also it's not my place to invite myself into having a conversation with anybody about their personal choices, as long as it doesn't hurt other people. Yeah. So whatever, whether you're a meat eater, you're vegan, you're a Buddhist, you're gay, you're whatever it is that you are, or you're Catholic or Muslim, it's not my place to invite myself into the conversation to try to change your mind, quote unquote. I'm a pink unicorn. That's right. Hey, I respect that. And you're beautiful. But I personally don't believe that's any Christian's place to invite themselves and insert themselves into a person's personal life to try to change their minds. Where it is, I think, acceptable for anybody to put their opinion out about whatever it is that they would talk about concerning social issues, is if somebody invites that by putting information out there, then it's acceptable for any individual to equally put information out there if they disagree with that information. That's part of the public discourse, which is fine. So for me, I'm totally comfortable in saying I don't appreciate the way that they've changed Iceman's character and what now the way they represent him in the comic books. That is all based on my nostalgia of me growing up with that character, and 30 plus years of familiarity with that character. So I'm not happy about it. That's okay for me to say that. Equally, it's okay for somebody to disagree with me and say, well, you're wrong about that, and it's fine for them to completely change the character. That's the kind of conversation I can have with somebody else, and we can have a disagreement with it, but it doesn't change my personal view about the individual who would disagree with me. Part of the problem, though, that we see online is that conversation immediately makes either me or the other person, depending on what side you're on, quote unquote, all of a sudden it gets turned up into a 10, and then they go, well, you're racist, or you're a bigot, or you're a whatever. And so then there's no opportunity to have a reasonable conversation about a disagreement of, I mean, that's as stupid as your cat is orange and I wish that it was black. And it's that's just a taste thing.
You're racist.
I know, but it would be that silly. It'd be like it's just a preference and a taste thing. Like if I like black cats more than, which I don't. I love your cat, by the way. But it has no bearing on friendship or the rest of existence or anything. But it's that extreme polarization of if you don't like that something was changed, there must be something wrong with you. Like, it is the debate of Justice League. If you don't like the Justice League, then you're a hater. Well, or I just might not like the direction of where they took the story. Right. I might not like that. Is it possible that I don't like my Batman killing people, and that I don't like my Superman breaking people's necks, and I don't like? Is it possible that to me, those are more extreme versions of those heroes, and I don't, and like visually, all day long, I'll give it to Zack Snyder. The way where the story was going, I give it to Zack Snyder.
I could see the neck snapping left and right.
I love the neck snapping
with that whole speech.
Yeah, and I think society. I hope that we can get back to a place where we can respectfully disagree with each other and then leave it there.
Right.
And not
just know that they're just opinions. That's how they are.
And it's an opinion that might just stay where it is. Mm-hmm. I disagree with you. You disagree with me. We're done. We're done there. But it has nothing to do with if I care about you or not. That's a separate thing. So it ends up becoming a food taste thing. That's all it is. Like, I like apples. I don't like apples. I prefer, strawberries. Yeah. Okay, perfect. You liking apples does not change my mind about your character and your person.
It's like, I feel like Mobius went too far with Loki. He told him that he's freaking bitter just because he likes eating grapes and nuts.
That's right.
Come on.
Candy? Got grapes and nuts.
To me, that's even better.
That's candy right there. So anyway, that's our Loki spoiler talk, our Superman talk.
Really quick, have you caught up with Bad Batch? Because I have.
Not at all.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Okay, I just saw the last 2 episodes, and they're still slow.
When we come back, you can educate me on some Bad Batch, because I do not mind spoilers.
Okay.
But for now, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye. We, again, really appreciate you guys. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate everything. Subscribing. We're grateful that you listen. Also,
I can't believe we have some people from Africa.
I was going to say giant shout out to our listeners in Spain and our listeners in South Africa, and abroad. Thank you.
Love it.
I don't know how you found us.
I know. That's so awesome. And when you sent it to me, it was just first 1, and then it was 3, right?
Yeah. Now there's like 3 and 3. It's so weird, but thank you guys.
Thank you.
Shout out to our international listeners as well. Yeah. We love you.
That's so awesome, man. It's weird, too. It's just, I was not expecting that.
I know, so crazy.
Love it.
And give me 1 second here.
Oh man, but yeah, I love all the like we still want like feedback too, like give us some feedback.
If you guys any suggestions, anything you'd want to hear from us, let us know. We really appreciate you again. This has been Alex.
This is Kenji.
And we are out. You guys have a great week.
Adios.
And